why we're able to price it that way is because our product, on the AirAsia website, is designed specifically for AirAsia, and we underwrite it with knowledge about AirAsia's timeliness. Whereas if you're selling a generic product through other distribution channels, you don't know whether the customer's going to be flying, Singapore Airlines, Cathay Pacific, Aeroflot, Ethiopian Airlines. So it has to be priced generically. Our one's priced specifically for AirAsia, and I think AirAsia's timeliness, I believe, is actually pretty good. I think there's always going to be bitching. AirAsia's flying 35-40 million people a year. There's bound to be some delayed flights, but I think their timeliness is very, very good. So which is why we can offer a 2-hour flight delay. In Indonesia, Indonesia always has a reputation for things being delayed or flights being late. But in Indonesia recently, we offered a 1-hour flight delay. If the flight's delayed more than 1 hour, we will pay 200 ringgits or 600,000 rupees compensation.
I'm talking this morning to Peter Miller, the Chief Executive of the newly listed insurer Tune Ins Holdings Bhd. Now, of course, one of the things that investors like about Tune Ins is the fact that you are piggybacking on the AirAsia plan, and you are piggybacking on the Tune Hotels brand, which obviously means that marketing costs are quite low. But nonetheless, you must have some A&P spend. Where does it go on, Peter?
We, in terms of all of our online revenue, we allocate 5% of that for marketing. So that could be used in various ways. It could be used billboards. It could be used in in-flight magazines. Could be used for radio commercials. I think Indonesia is our best example. If you approach the AirAsia terminal in Jakarta, as you walk to the gate, you'll see a big Starbucks sign, and then you'll see our insurance product next to it. As you walk through immigration, you've got 5 30-foot high buntings advertising each of our product benefits. As you get on the bus to go to the plane, we sponsor the bus. There's luggage, there's meal trays, there's luggage racks, there's 360 magazine, there's AirAsia web banners. So we use a lot of the very focused, very targeted advertising for the population, which is flying AirAsia. So a big chunk of it does go there.
What about the underlying message, though? How, in terms of approaching A&P, and obviously I'm going to cite the AirAsia experience in Australia, where it ran foul of the Competition Commission for misleading prices. Obviously, the Tune model is a little bit naughty. It's a little bit Grille-ish sometimes. I mean, does that guide your A&P thinking sometimes, Peter?
No, I mean our A&P focus, and we were with AirAsia yesterday. Our A&P focus is just very much on educating the consumer. If you look at our take-up rates are highest in the more sophisticated markets. Singapore and Hong Kong has our highest take-up rates of all the Asian markets, of the 14 Asian markets that we operate in. So in the sophisticated markets, people understand why they need travel insurance. So our focus is, a lot of people, when we did our roadshow, there was misperceptions. Some people thought the insurance only covered you when you were on the aeroplane. They didn't realise it covered you from the moment you were due to take off to the moment you arrived back home. So, a huge part of our focus is just educating the consumer, make sure that they're aware that saving 20 ringgits is not necessarily a wise decision if you suddenly have a 100,000 ringgit claim. And who's going to pay the 100,000 ringgits? Are you going to ask your family to pay it? Are you going to be able to pay it yourself? So our focus really is education.
Now, of course, on the digital side, Peter, you've got two big arms of distribution. Of course, one of them is the hotels, where Mark Lancaster runs the show there, and of course AirAsia, where Tony runs the show. AirAsia, you've got 6 airlines, there's 7 with India coming soon. The tenures of your partnership there run between 10 and 15 years, and on the hotel side, 10 years. Give us some visibility as to how these tenures have been decided and what might guide them in going forward.
I think with AirAsia, AirAsia owns 16% of our company post listing. AirAsia knows better than anybody how much they're going to grow. So we IPO'd with a valuation of 1 billion ringgits. AirAsia owns 16% of that. That's 160 million ringgits. AirAsia's, I think, got 120 planes with another 480 on order. If AirAsia can treble their fleet and we can treble our profitability, then if all the numbers stay the same, then our valuation should treble. AirAsia equity should be worth 480 million. So 10 years, 15 years was the sort of tenure that was needed in order for investors to say, yes, this partner is there for the long term. So it was very, very much driven that in mind. So AirAsia benefits as an equity holder, and we benefit via the IPO.
Within the strategy, though, Peter, does it preclude you from doing similar deals with other LCCs or other airlines to get into the aviation insurance sector?
No, I mean, in our distribution agreement with AirAsia, we are able to partner with other airlines, but we do need to have AirAsia's okay. But, AirAsia being a shareholder, our interests are aligned. If we partner with another airline, that increases our profitability, increases our valuation. AirAsia benefits as a shareholder. So we have our own proprietary technology which connects us to AirAsia's Navitaire booking system and connects us with 14 insurers across Asia Pacific. It's quite hard for other airlines to replicate that ecosystem. So, one of our key go-forward strategies is to replicate our model with other online distributors, including other airlines.
What about on the hotel side? I mean, obviously, Tune Hotels is just rather nascent right now, but it's got a big plan to be a couple hundred hotels down the line. What's the strategy there?
Again, it's ensuring that when people stay in a hotel, if they're doing a trip overseas, they do have protection in place, similar to our partnership with AirAsia Expedia. They do have personal accident or trip protection in place. As you say, when Mark grows his business to 100, 200 hotels, if we do the maths and say 100 hotels multiplied by average occupancy, etc., that would be 10, 20 million bed nights per year, which again gives a substantial base of customers who will need trip insurance as well as other insurance products, be it auto insurance, be it home insurance, health insurance, accident insurance. So it's a similar strategy. It's ensure people when they're away on vacation, and it's to insure them before and after they go on vacation.
Now, on the flip side, you are heavily dependent on the Tune assets, right? Whether on the airline side or whether on the hotel side. And that could be a double-edged sword. Obviously, the leisure and travel industry is notoriously exposed to all kinds of risks, mostly out of its control. Conflicts, of course, biodiseases, oil prices. How do you plan to mitigate them as and when they do happen?
I think just in the time that AirAsia has been running, you've had 9/11, SARS, Bali bombings, etc., etc. It's unlikely there's going to be an event that stops travel absolutely everywhere. And if there's another SARS occurrence and everybody's sitting at home, then I'm sure AirAsia will be saying, okay, book a ticket for 3 months' time, book a ticket for 6 months' time, and we'll be thinking, okay, 6 months' time, all of this should have blown over, and and we can continue to sell our product. So.
Yeah, well, in terms of other challenges as well, it wasn't that long ago that Malindo came in and announced plans to be a bit of a rival carrier, and that of course hit the share price a little bit at AirAsia level. I know you talked about the moats around your business in terms of the difficulty of replicating it, but internally at least, what's the thinking towards addressing the Malindo threat, perceived or otherwise?
Yeah, when I look at the revenue we can generate via our partnership with AirAsia, what I look at is how many planes does AirAsia have, how many planes are AirAsia ordering, multiplied by average load factor. That gives us the potential size of the pie for us. And I think AirAsia has been voted the world's best low-cost carrier for 4 years running. I've got absolutely no doubt at all that AirAsia will be flying, just per the India announcement, will be flying a lot more passengers in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years' time than they are today.
Okay, and of course there's also the competition, right? Whether local or overseas, they've got that much more distribution, product breadth, financial resources, experience. How would you focus resources and management time to address these competitive challenges?
I think what we're doing with hotels and AirAsia is another example of affinity assurance. In the market, you'll see lots of bank assurers. So there's insurance companies where most of their revenue comes from a single bank. We've got our revenue, 3/4 of the top line comes from Tune Insurance Malaysia Bhd, and primarily our agency business. So we already have some diversification there. But just in the same way as with other affinity assurers, when people are booking a flight on AirAsia, they can either select our products and all they have to do is tick the box and everything else is taken care of, or they can go shopping around for another product, key in all of their name, address, credit card details, and will probably end up spending more money for a product they could have got from just ticking the box.
Well, Peter, a great pleasure chatting. Good luck with the plan as you roll it out, and obviously world domination awaits if you if your plan does come to fruition. Thank you for your time.
Okay, many thanks.
That was Peter Miller, the Chief Executive of the newly listed insurer Tune Ins Holdings Bhd, BFM 89.9.
BFM 89.9, the business station.